It's the $1 Million Organizer Show. Tips for professional union organizers. Win more campaigns, balance work and family, and leave the competition in the dust. Now here's your host, Bob Odie.
Hello, union organizers and future union organizers. Welcome to podcast episode number 60. Today's subject, captive audience or not. You may have heard that there's an effort to outlaw employers holding captive audience meetings. This is great news. I'm very hopeful. Captive audience meetings are where a company will hold a mandatory meeting with employees during work hours to discuss unions. They're often run by the company's attorneys or paid union busters. These meetings can be very powerful in overturning union elections. They often take the form of a pizza party, an ice cream social, or a steak dinner. Managers are suddenly super nice, or the opposite can happen. One's loyalty to the company can be called into question. Either way, it can be very intimidating and cause workers a great deal of anxiety. In some cases, companies threaten to shut their doors. At other times, workers are told going union will cause disruptions or bankrupt the entity altogether. There have been companies willing to close stores to avoid going union. In anticipation of these rules taking effect, some employers are making such meetings voluntary. Now, this poses a few questions. Are they really voluntary? Is it like overtime being voluntary, where if you don't work the overtime, you'll be the first one laid off? Is it voluntary, but if you don't show up, the manager will identify you as a union supporter? Is it voluntary, where half the shift is sitting in an air-conditioned meeting, eating pizza, and the other half is sweating it out on the shop floor? What's voluntary? Will these meetings be outlawed only when there's a union petition filed? These are questions we don't yet have the answer to. In my book, The $1 Million Organizer, 365 Tips for Professional Union Organizers, available in softcover, Kindle, and audiobook, tip number 109 is don't wait for Washington. Unfortunately, the labor movement has been promised so many things over the years. In the book, I use the example of card check. That was something promised to unions years ago. There were organizers who expected card check to be adopted as a way to reform the NLRB. All these years later, it still hasn't replaced elections. Whether these meetings are mandatory or voluntary, organizers need to warn workers about companies making empty promises. Stick with the issues, respect, dignity, and fairness. Management will always claim, we're like family here. They will always paint the union as outsiders. Don't forget to remind workers that management will suddenly take an interest in them. If we warn workers in advance, they'll realize when management is playing games. Captive audience or not, stick with the issues that matter to workers. There's an online course that can save you a ton of heartache and hassles. Are you looking to get hired as a union organizer? Or maybe you're new and haven't quite figured out how to succeed. It's called Get Hired as a Union Organizer. Take advantage of our lifetime access, on-demand videos, downloadable resources, and certificate of completion. If you're not satisfied for any reason, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. You have absolutely nothing to lose. Go to gethiredasaunionorganizer.com. That's gethiredasaunionorganizer.com. Enter coupon code UNION101 to save 10% off the purchase price. Do it today. Like everything else, the price will be going up very soon, so don't wait.
Thanks for listening. We hope that you'll subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts or anywhere you listen to podcasts. Give us a 5-star review and let us know what you'd like to hear the $1 Million Organizer talk about. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram @Union Organizer. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.